Hello, you're watching VNA News Bulletin. I'm Bảo Ngọc from Hanoi, and now the headlines as usual. Prime Minister Nguyễn Phúc promises more friendly business environment. Vietnam promulgates 7 laws, 1 resolution, and an ordinance. Ministry proposes longer duration of visa exemption for European tourists. President Trần Đại Quang has asked the central city of Da Nang to step up economic development, restructure the economy, and reform growth model. He made the request during his working session with key local officials on April 29th.
Da Nang attained various achievements in socio-economic development in 2015 and in the first quarter of this year. The city posted a 9.8% economic growth, and its per capita income reached $2,810 last year. The coastal city welcomed 4.6 million visitors last year, including 1.2 million international arrivals. President Trần Đại Quang praised Da Nang for its important achievements gained in recent years. He said that these attainments contributed to the overall development of the country. President noted that Da Nang should make further efforts to see greater progress in the years to come. He said the city should improve the quality and effectiveness of its urban planning and management, focus on party building, and strictly implement resolutions and directives on national defense and security.
Prime Minister Nguyễn Phúc met with businesses on April 29th in Ho Chi Minh City to discuss ways to build a favorable environment for businesses.
Themed Vietnamese companies, drivers of growth, the conference is aimed at removing barriers for business and facilitating their operation. Addressing the event, Prime Minister Phúc said it is necessary to provide the most favorable environment for companies to grow, as they are the pioneers of the economy. The party and state have developed numerous guidelines and policies for business development, he said, admitting the prevalence of barriers to enterprises, which form the leading economic force. The government's leader expressed his wish that the meeting would be a meaningful, straightforward, and heartfelt interaction between the government and the business community. President of the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Vũ Tiến Lộc, proposed that the government enact a resolution on the National Plan of Action on Developing Businesses, which focuses on consolidating businesses' trust and developing enterprises. A large number of delegates said that the business and investment environment has improved. Nevertheless, obstacles are still lying ahead, including slow introduction of guiding documents for the law on investments and the law on enterprises, possible legal loopholes, and authoritarian attitudes. In addition, enterprises are facing with high risk, cost burdens, fierce competition from international integration. Enterprises also blamed high capital costs, inappropriate interest rates, unreasonable tax and fees. The business community proposed the government speed up reforms in a drastic manner. Unsuitable business conditions and licenses, which block freedom to doing business and create risks and costs for enterprises, must be removed, they suggested. On the afternoon of the same day, following the conference, Prime Minister Phúc chaired a meeting with cabinet members to consider businesses' proposals. The government discussed and built a draft resolution on development of businesses. On the occasion, an agreement was signed between Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City and the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry, under which Hanoi committed to build e-government and issue business license online within 2 working days. Ho Chi Minh City pledged to cut half of custom procedures.
Also on April 29th, Prime Minister Nguyễn Phúc met with a delegation from the Vietnam Women Entrepreneurs Association.
Prime Minister Phúc spoke highly of the role of women and women entrepreneurs as well as their contributions to socio-economic development. He urged the association's members to step up the restructuring of businesses to raise their competitiveness and labor productivity, and improve management and corporate governance. The leader affirms that the government will continue to create favorable conditions for the business community in general, including businesses owned by women. At the meeting, Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade Ho Thị Kim Thoa, President of the association, suggested the government promulgate legal documents targeting women-owned businesses and consider providing priorities to them and those using female workers. She also proposed that the government pay more attention to supporting small and medium-sized enterprises owned by women. In recent years, the number of women entrepreneurs has increased constantly, rising from 65,000 in 2010 to 91,000 in 2015.
We have more news coming up next. Stay tuned.
The President's office announced 7 laws, 1 resolution and an ordinance adopted at the 11th session of the 13th National Assembly in Hanoi on April 29th. As part of the new laws, the press law will take effect from January 1, 2017. It dedicates the second chapter with 4 articles to detailing the freedom of press and citizens' freedom of expression on the media. Other laws include those on special consumption tax, export-import tariffs, and signing, joining, and implementing international treaties. The resolution ratifying the diplomatic note on visa agreement between Vietnam and the U.S. aims to make it easier for investments and trade activities and tourism of Americans in Vietnam. The ordinance on market management will take effect from September 1st and looks to make market management activities transparent and in line with law in a bid to spur a healthy business and investment environment.
Vietnamese ambassador to the U.S. Phạm Quang Vinh delivered a speech themed Vietnam and the U.S. in the 21st century, a new beginning, while attending the Vietnam World Summit in Texas on April 28th local time. Our correspondents in the U.S. will bring more details.
Reviewing the missing opportunities for a sound relationship, the Vietnamese diplomat said nearly 230 years ago, President Thomas Jefferson, one of the founders of the U.S. Declaration of Independence, tried to bring a rice variety in Vietnam to grow in Virginia. In 1945 and 1946, Vietnamese President Ho Chi Minh sent letters to his U.S. counterpart Harry Truman, asking for a comprehensive cooperation to be established between the two countries. However, the countries experienced a painful war with terrible consequences. In Vietnam, about 3 million people were killed, while 4 million others became disabled. Some 4.8 million people were exposed to Agent Orange dioxin, and hundreds of thousands have been unaccounted for. However, a new era has begun, the ambassador said, adding that top leaders of Vietnam and the U.S. affirms the principle of respecting each other's political institution, independence and sovereignty, which will build up trust for their partnership to move forward to the next level. The Vietnam War Summit from April 26 to 28 is to shed light on the war, its lessons and legacy. It was attended by some 5,000 people, including politicians, war veterans, researchers, and representatives of anti-war organizations and movements. U.S. State Secretary John Kerry also gave a keynote address at the event.
Latest statistics show that Vietnam has attracted $6.88 billion in foreign direct investments since the beginning of this year, up 85% as compared with the same period of 2015.
During the reviewed period, Vietnam has licensed 697 FDI projects with combined registered capital of over $5.08 billion, year-on-year increases of 55.6% and 89.9% respectively. Meanwhile, existing projects were permitted to add a total of $1.8 billion to their investments. According to the General Statistics Office, The processing and manufacturing sector continued to take lead in terms of FDI attraction. An estimated $4.7 billion was disbursed in the first 4 months of 2016, up 12% over the same period last year. Last year, the country attracted more than $22.7 billion in newly registered and additional capital, up 12.5% against 2014. Foreign businesses pumped investments into 19 sectors, especially industrial processing and manufacturing, which attracted 955 newly registered investment projects and 517 with additional capital worth a combined $15.23 billion last year, accounting for 66.9% of the total registered investments.
Vietnam's total exports saw a year-on-year increase of 6% in the first 4 months of this year to $52.8 billion. The figures have been announced by the General Statistics Office.
Of this, domestic economic enterprises saw a year-on-year surge of 2.9% in export value to $15.11 billion, while foreign direct invested firms had a year-on-year growth of 7.3% in export value to $37.76 billion. Experts said this was a result of the positive growth of national exports in the face of a drop in crude oil exports by 52% to $678 million due to the strong reduction in world oil prices. Meanwhile, 30 key export products saw a strong increase in export value in the first 4 months. These included vegetables and fruits, telephone and its components, gemstone and precious metals, machines and equipment, petrol products, handbags, hats and umbrellas. However, some other key export products faced low growth or even reduction in export value, such as seafood, bamboo and rattan, woodware, tea and cassava. The office also reported in the first 4 months of this year, the country's import value reduced 1.2% year-on-year to $51.4 billion, including $20.7 billion from domestic enterprises and $30.7 billion from FDI enterprises. The products witnessing a big reduction in import value included animal feed, petrol, and completely built-up automobiles.
The Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism has proposed the government extend the duration of visa exemption for tourists from France, Germany, Spain, Italy and the UK from 1 year to 5 years. The move aims to attract more visitors from these Western European countries.
The ministry announced that it also suggested the government approve its proposal to offer unilateral visa exemption for citizens from 13 countries who travel to Vietnam on full package tours. It also submitted to the Prime Minister a visa waiver scheme for tourists from several key markets, as well as granting visas at border gates and e-visas to facilitate traveling. After nearly 10 months of offering a visa waiver for Belarus and 5 Western European countries, travelers from these markets have been on the rise. Figures from the General Statistics Office showed that tourists to Vietnam in the third and fourth quarter of 2015 and the first 3 months of 2016 increased by 4.24%, 16.49% and 20% respectively. The total number of travelers from the 5 above countries topped 554,000 in the last 9 months, up 13.91% from 2014 and 2015. Last year, Belarusian visitors to Vietnam neared 6,000, a 65% increase from 2014, a record high compared to past years. According to the Vietnam National Administration of Tourism, tourists from the 5 Western European countries have brought Vietnam an increase of more than $171 million in revenue.
And that has wrapped up our news bulletin. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye for now.